तो यो व्हाट्सअप गाइस, कैसे आप सभी लोग। वेलकम बैक टू अनदर गेम क्लिप वीडियो ऑफ जेंशिन इंपैक्ट। तो गाइस कैसे आप सभी लोग। आई नो करीब लिटरली 4 महीना हो चुके, उसके बाद जाके मैं लिटरली एक बड़ा वीडियो बनाने वाला हूँ आज। तो अरे ये जो आज जो पहला वीडियो है ये लाइक पीसी से होगा, ठीक है। इतने दिन से आप लोगों ने लाइक मोबाइल में देखा होगा, बट ये एक्चुअली फुल पीसी गेम प्ले आप देख सकते हो। इधर माउस भी है। तो वही है। तो गाइस आज के वाले वीडियो में हम लोग गाइस, आप लोग को तो पता है कि आज सुबह ही मैंने लाइव स्ट्रीम किया था कि हाँ मैंने जो आर्कोन क्विज जो लाइक न्यू आर्कोन क्विज आया है, आप इधर देख सकते हो। ये जो क्या बोलते हैं इसको था, मैस्कुलेट ऑफ द गिल्टी। तो गाइस ये मैंने फाइनली कंप्लीट कर दिया है। तो इसके बाद जो फुरीना के साथ क्या हुआ, आप लोगों ने तो वो फुल लाइव स्ट्रीम देखा है। तो इसके बाद लाइक फुरीना के साथ जो वो बहुत बड़ा जो वेल आया था उसका क्या हुआ, तो उसका लाइक स्टोरी क्विज आया, उसके साथ थोड़ा हैंग आउट करने का मेरे को मौका मिला है। तो वही है। तो गाइस आज अपन ये कुछ तो करने वाले, ठीक है। तो उससे पहले गाइस जो भी बंदे गाइस वीडियो में नहीं है तो प्लीज लाइक कर देना एंड डोंट फॉरगेट टू सब्सक्राइब आवर यूट्यूब चैनल, बिकॉज हम लोग ऐसे ही जेंशिन इंपैक्ट एंड बाकी पीसी गेम्स के वीडियोस हम लोग कैसे लाते रहेंगे। तो वही है। तो चलो गाइस आज का ये जो एनिमल चौरागी चैप्टर जो भी कहते हैं भाई, थोड़ा सा प्रोनाउंस में गलत हो तो माफ कर देना। तो हाँ ये वाला चैप्टर गाइस हम लोग आज करने वाले हैं। फुरीना का चैप्टर, फुरीना का स्टोरी कुछ कह सकते हो वही है। तो इधर मेरे को एक्चुअली इधर मिल चुका है कि हाँ इसके बाद ये करना है। तो देखो इधर अनलॉक का भी ऑलरेडी ऑप्शन आ चुका है। और इस वाले वीडियो में लाइक मैं इतना देर ही मैं कमेंट्री करूंगा, ठीक है। इसके बाद लाइक ये बाकी तो ये फुरीना इन लोग का चलेगा, बिकॉज देखो मैं अभी यदि ये करने गया मतलब वो ये बीच में बात करने गया तो वो ये फिर प्रॉब्लम होगा। तो इससे अच्छा अभी कर लेते फिर तो होगा। तो चलो गाइस मैंने इसको अनलॉक कर दिया है, देख सकते हो। और इधर एक्सेप्ट कुछ, बिकॉज अभी न्यू गेम का मैकेनिज्म आ चुका है कि तुम एक्सेप्ट करना चाहते हो कर सकते हो, नहीं तो बाद में भी कर सकते हो इफ यू वांट टू। ओके तो चलो मैंने एक्सेप्ट कुछ कर लिया। तो ये गाइस ये आ चुका है फुरीना का। ओके इधर हमको जाने को बोल रहा है। तो चलो गाइस हम लोग अभी आप लोग के साथ वीडियो के अपन एंड में मिलेंगे और फिर आपको बताएंगे कि क्या हुआ। तो तब तक के लिए गाइस भाई मिलते हैं एकदम वीडियो के एंड में। और आप लोग पूरा फुरीना का जो मतलब स्टोरी क्वेस्ट है वो है, आप लोग उसके साथ मजा ले सकते हो, ठीक है। तो चलो गाइस अभी हम लोग चलते हैं डायरेक्ट मेन गेम में। ओके
Hey, Catherine, it's us. Got any new commissions? Specifically one with a huge more attack, perhaps? Paimon's just being enthusiastic. Well,
It's always a pleasure to see our two most avid adventurers again. Actually, we do in fact have a rather urgent commission that is still open. Having read the details, however,
don't worry about that. We were just kidding.
to put it simply, the requester is looking for a temporary replacement actress for their musical. The original cast member ran into some, but the troupe has also been experiencing some financial difficulties. So
That does sound like a tricky situation.
That's right. Our adventurers reached out to many actresses, but none of them were willing to take. There are only a few days left until the performance. If they can't find someone in time, they'll probably have to post.
Got it. Oh, this one's a doozy. What do you think, Traveler? Even if we took the commission, neither of us have any experience.
If you're interested in helping, why not start by having a chat with the requester? Maybe you can't fill the role yourselves, but you might be able to help him figure out another solution.
Oh, it's that guy, huh? Paimon approves. Let's go. Hello there. Are you the guy looking for a new actress?
Wait, I know you two!
Wow, sounds like we're pretty famous. But to answer your question, neither of us have any experience in musicals. But we heard that you're...
Ah, I see. It's okay. If we can't find someone to step in, well, that's the thing. All our sets and props are very crude. If we had a way to make this profitable, things might have turned out...
Disband? You're splitting up the...
Oh, I guess the lady at the Adventurers Guild didn't tell you? Yeah, one last show. And after that, nobody wants things to just... Yeah, the leading lady, in fact. The show just won't be the same without her.
Got it. We have a clearer picture now. What if...
Please, there's no need to go that far. I wouldn't feel right asking such a huge favor. And I can't promise that we'd ever be able to pay you back.
Good point. If the actress did... We should find someone who will put on the best performance possible. Oh, wait! What about... That's how you know she's really good at performing, and she was once super popular.
Who are you thinking of? Sounds like someone famous. Her! You're... That was a...
Nope. Paimon doesn't actually know if she's performed on stage before, but Paimon's pretty confident that she...
You're not wrong there. She has actually performed in a number of big-name shows before. They were one of the reasons she was so popular. But even if she's no longer the Hydro Archon, it's not like she's suddenly a commoner. She's still an idol to many people in Fontaine, including myself. I just think, well, yes, but... Fair enough. I mean, if she was actually willing to, then of course I'd be honored to have Lady Furina star in our show. I'm sure everyone in our troupe has probably dreamt of performing on stage. Of course, it all depends on whether she's interested.
No point in stressing about that. We'll only know if we ask her. And besides, things are different now.
Thank you for your help.
Wait, where does Furina actually live nowadays? She used to live in luxury at the Palais Mermonia, but she's
As it happens, I have her current address here. I can provide it to you.
Woo! When did you get...
I came over when things were starting to sound more promising. It is my duty to support commissioners and...
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, now that we've got the address, we'll go find Furina. Did Catherine really give us the right address? She lives here? Not that there's anything wrong with this place, it's just, a bit of a step down from the palace.
You know, it's common courtesy to make sure the homeowner isn't an earshot when you're denigrating their abode.
Okay, when did popping out of thin air become all the rage? First Catherine and now you?
I was just out on a shopping trip. I ran out of macaroni, so I went to grab a few more bags. I used to have a much wider range of choices when it came to food. Not at all. As long as you have different kinds of sauces in, you can have macaroni and tomato sauce one week, macaroni and bolognese the next.
Oh, sounds like you're really struggling to cope.
How rude. Questioning my cooking skills. It's not like I have a very eventful life these days. Actually, I barely leave the house. So I don't see how it's unusual that my... Besides, I'm sure I could master dishes like Ĺķᴏfysoʟ or blubber profiteroles in no time, if I felt so inclined.
Ah, there it is. You don't know how to cook.
Not yet, maybe, but... Anyway, what are you even doing here? I do hope you didn't come here just to ogle at my fall from grace. Let me first be clear that I'm not taking guests at this time. So if you're just here to clown around, then please be on your way. Shoo!
Sorry! We're sorry! Please don't be mad! Yeah, exactly! What the traveler said! Paimon wasn't trying to make... Hang on a sec! You weren't exactly holding back either!
My help? Well, maybe you're forgetting that I'm no longer the mighty Hydro Archon. I don't even have a vision, you know.
Don't worry, it's nothing that serious. It's just very specific, and you're the one with the power to help!
Oh? Well, if that's the case, then... Fine. So tell me, what specifically makes this matter so... specific? I see. I knew you couldn't have come all this way just to amuse. After all, I was once the brightest star in all of Fontaine, well versed in all the various performing arts. But given the present circumstances, I'm afraid I must regretfully decline your casting.
How come? It sounds like this would be a breeze for you.
True, but I have made a decision to retire from the stage. Although I am no longer required to play the role of the Hydro Archon, the time I spent inhabiting that character has left in centuries of pretending to be a different person changes you completely. I'm not this. Of course, that can't be undone now. It's too late, and I have no intent. But at least I can say that I no longer desire to play any new role.
Paimon can understand, but this is just a one-off part to fill in for someone who's sick. Surely that's okay.
Whether it's a one-off or not, if I make an exception to the rule now, I'm just leaving a back door for myself, which would be the same as not having a boundary in the first. So I'm not going to perform.
Okay, guess there's no convincing you. Well, is there anything else we can do to help out the troupe? Otherwise, do you know any other actors who might be interested in the role?
Nope.
Short and to the point, okay.
I've never been great at maintaining relationships. Besides, anyone I've ever worked with probably, since I'm just an ordinary person now, they'll probably just laugh in my face if I go asking them for help. True, but I mean, could you even blame them? I show up out of the blue, begging and groveling for their help with a show they won't even get paid for. Oh, no way. I'm dying from embarrassment just thinking.
Well, is there anything else we can do? This performance really means a lot to the guy.
Have I not made myself clear? You're barking up the wrong tree. I don't want this job, nor do I know of anyone else who would. Sorry. I didn't mean for that to sound so harsh. I wish I could help, really. But if I thought I had the answer to this problem...
It's all right, Furina. Paimon just wanted to make sure we tried everything. Oh, everyone in the troupe will be so disappointed. Yeah, I guess that's all we can do now. All right.
Toodaloo to you, too. I'm going home to take a rest now.
It's too bad, but we have to respect Furina's decision. Maybe the thought of performing brings up too many painful memories now. Huh? What's going on? Are they arguing?
That's besides the point. I'll ask you again. Why did you start looking for a replacement without my consent?
You didn't need to say it. We've known each other for how long now? We know the signs.
And that gives you the right to make a decision on my behalf?
Shortly after you left, the troupe's lead actress came to the Adventurers Guild. She believes that she's healthy enough to perform. Excuse me, but can you both take a moment to discuss something else for now? The adventurer assigned to your commission has returned.
Sorry, I was just dealing with a little misunderstanding.
Sadly, it's a no from her. We tried to persuade her, but she wasn't having it. She doesn't want to play the role for personal reasons.
I see. Well, circumstances have changed a little. You see, our leading lady has just informed me that she's well enough to make it to the show after all. Staging the musical...
Oh, right! Sounds like everything worked itself out then. Yeah, she'd be livid. We'd get the scolding of a lifetime.
Jeez, is Lady Furina really so harsh with people?
Only joking, calm down. So, guess we can consider this case closed now, huh? Despite the fact that we failed to complete the commission? We were still racking our brains.
Look, there's no point arguing with you about this anymore. You've made yourself very clear. This is the last chance we have, though. If your illness flares up again, there won't be time to find anyone to replace you. So, are you absolutely sure you'll be able to handle it? The whole team is putting everything they have into this final performance. We have to make sure it goes ahead.
Yes, I'm completely confident. I've been taking a new medication from the doctor, and it's working brilliantly. I share everyone's desire to commemorate all our years as a troupe. Every one of us thinks of this troupe as their home.
You're right. I'm sorry. I let myself get too worried about...
All's well that ends well. Sounds like the show will go on. Sure.
Hey, how did you... I was just passing by because I realized I forgot a couple of items on my... All right, I'm coming. No need to drag... Hello, one and all. I couldn't help but overhear your
Furina? Didn't you say you were gonna take a rest at home? What are you doing here?
I was just ever so slightly concerned about the situation you mentioned. Yes, a teensy bit concerned. That's when you came to talk with me earlier, I jumped right to explaining my position and said some strongly worded, and all before I even had a full grasp of the situation. Anyway, I'm sorry, Paimon.
Oh, it's totally fine. Paimon didn't take any of that personally.
You really have a knack for asking the most uncomfortable questions, don't you? I felt very sheepish, having had a change of heart after flatly refusing you. And then, to make matters worse, you caught me. But in any case, it sounds like the issue has already been...
Yeah. When they said they were gonna ask for your help, I almost had a heart attack. I mean, how could we be worthy of having Lady Furina star in our show?
There's no need to think like that. And no need to keep addressing me as Lady. Just Furina is fine. I was wondering, if this troupe is so important to all of you, why does it have to disband? If the difficulties are purely financial, then there must be a solution. You could put the shows on pause while you look for a sponsor, for instance. Everyone seems so devoted to the troupe. I'm sure if you...
We all want to believe that, but some things are just beyond our control. Everything's been going downhill ever since we lost our director. She was the...
Her name was Yorᴏ̈y, and she was the founder as well as the artistic director of our troupe. And tragically, she...
What?
That's actually how I recognized these two. It was all thanks to their efforts that the true culprit was brought to justice. But still...
She was a loyal fan of your performances, Miss Furina. They were what first inspired her. She rallied many people around her who were destitute or had lost their sense of purpose in life, and convinced them to join her troupe. She wrote her own scripts, acted on stage. People loved our performances back then. We seemed to be going from strength...
And then disaster struck.
Yeah. After that, none of us know anything about script writing, let alone how to handle the business side of things. We've been doing the best we can. But despite our efforts, things are slowly but surely falling apart. It's agonizing. But ultimately, we'd rather end things now on our own terms than stick it out to the bitter end and watch all our dreams turn to dust.
Oh.
What a terrible waste. A gifted artist from humble beginnings who achieved so much and no doubt had much more to give. And then her life was so... I suppose it's fair to say then that this final show, besides being your farewell to the stage, is also your final gift for her?
Yes, exactly. We all miss her terribly.
Well, good thing I followed the traveler here. After hearing this tragic tale, I can no longer stand by and do nothing.
Furina?
I know what you're thinking, but I by no means plan to cross the boundary I've set for myself. Besides, they're no longer looking for a replacement anyway. I can, however, provide some artistic guidance from the vantage point of a highly experienced, but only if you feel this is something that would help, of course.
Oh, most definitely. We'll take any guidance that you can give.
We unfortunately don't have any budget for a consultant, though. Will that be a problem?
I don't need any compensation. All I'd ask in return, if you're willing, is that you tell me some more about the life and work of your late director. Something I've begun to realize since my departure from the Opera Épiclès is that there's a lot you don't see when you observe everything from on high. The law only judges criminal behavior and does not weigh human emotion. The court's verdict can settle the question of criminal liability. What about all the unresolved emotions of the parties involved? What happens to them? An interesting answer. But if you ask me, I think all emotion shall ultimately return home to the heart and slowly settle with the passage of time. Take, par exemple, how this troupe pines for their late director. Things such as this I have never witnessed before, and so I should like to observe, perchance to...
Still a fan of your old dramatic monologues then, huh? You just want to get back in on the action, don't you?
No. This is a completely different situation. Pearls before swine.
The name's not Swine, it's Paimon!
Would you be willing to join me? Come on, take a break from adventure.
Thank you all so much. Our director was a huge fan of Miss Furina's performances. All right, follow me. We'll go to our usual practice.
Lady Furina?
What's Lady Furina doing here?
Hello all. Allow me to explain. As of today, Miss Furina will be supporting our production of the Little Ocenid in the role of artistic consultant. These two over here are the ones that made it possible. They kindly reached out to Miss Furina on our behalf. I'm sure they need no
You bet! That was the trial of the century!
You helped bring our director's murderer to justice. We can't thank you enough.
Oh, please don't mention it. We're just here to join in on the fun.
So, you were saying the Little Ocenid?
Yeah, that's the name of our final show. It's an unfinished script left behind by our director. One of our greatest regrets is that she never got to complete it. So, if we can bring it to the stage and make it a successful show, we can all take some solace in that.
Wait, but if it's not finished, then...
Yeah, we've been battling issues on every front, trying to realize this dream. Anyway, let me get the protagonist of the story is a young Ocenid who transforms herself into human form, despite the protests of her family. She longed to live just like any other human. And sure enough, But one day, her true identity was exposed, and her world came
So far, so good. A classic tale. What happened after...
That's one of the issues we've been trying to deal with. Unfortunately, this was as far as the director got with her script. We need a proper ending so we can bring this musical to the stage. But people have different opinions on which direction to take it in.
We still haven't decided between a happy ending or a true-to-life tragedy.
By true to life, you mean the director's...
Yeah, like they say, truth. But then there's the question of whether we really want to use the stage.
Exactly. A lot of the time, people come to watch a show just hoping for some light entertainment. We have to consider their emotional stake in this, not just our own. And one last thing. We're still waiting on confirmation from 2 of our main actors. The first is Paulo, who plays the protagonist's lover. He's locked himself away to focus on writing an ending for the script, but the deadline's passed and we still haven't heard from him. The other is Villemont, who plays the main antagonist. He took the director's death pretty hard. Hasn't set foot in the city since. He did write to us, promising that he'll be there for the final performance, but we haven't seen or heard from him since. So we're not really sure what to make of that.
Although, now that we have Miss Furina helping us, maybe we should take the opportunity to get everyone back together.
What opportunity? What do you mean?
Maybe you're unaware, but your name has always been like a rallying cry for us.
Our director was constantly singing your praises. All of us look up to you as a role model.
Oh, stop! You're making me all flustered. I suspect the reason they're dragging their feet is that they have their doubts about whether the show will really go ahead, considering all the issues you've been facing. But one by one, all the obstacles are being removed. Now is the time to rally the troops.
Makes sense. Okay, priority number 1, let's check in with Paulo and see where he's at with the ending. He went back to Poisson a few days ago, said that staying in a friend's home might help him to relax and escape the feeling of isolation.
I thought the last thing his friend would want right now would be to take visitors, given that Poisson was flooded not too long ago. But I guess it's the opposite. A friend in need and all that.
Yeah, maybe he could use some company.
Poisson? Nothing. I suppose my presence will be indispensable if we are to restore his faith in the show. So, allons-y. To Poisson!
If I remember correctly, this is where he's staying.
Who is it?
It's me. Is the script ready?
You came all the way here for that?
Alright. Forget that for now. Just come on out. We've got some great news.
Nice try. Look, just give me some time, okay? I'm just wrapping up this last part of the script.
Okay then. Looking forward to your masterpiece.
So, as expected, he's missed the deadline.
The ending is one of the most important parts of the show. Even once he's done, it isn't final until we've all had the chance to read through and...
Someone told me they'd just seen you in Poisson. I assumed it was a case of mistaken identity, but sure enough, here you are.
I was wondering if we might run into her.
So, you're here for Paulo? Looks like he could be a while, so feel free to take a stroll around town in the meantime.
Oh, it's okay. We can just wait here.
Thank you for being so considerate, Miss Navia. That sounds wonderful. Get over here, you! How oblivious are you?
How are things in Poisson now?
Things are on the mend, but it's a slow process. Some people may never recover from the trauma they experienced.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I wish there was...
Please, must our conversations take such a depressing turn every time we meet? We all have painful memories, but we don't have to let them cloud everything we do. And if you're trying to make a new start, perhaps it's best if you don't bring up the past all the time.
Thank you for your words of comfort. You make a very... But for now, at least, I think I should stay with the way I'm feeling for a while longer.
It's okay. These things take time. Which brings me to why I'm here. I thought you should probably know that not everyone here is ready to forgive and forget after the Hydro Archon's inaction in the face of catastrophe. To avoid upsetting the peace, I told the townspeople that everyone here is a member of the theater troupe, and that you are just an actress playing the role of Furina. It's not a perfect solution, but hopefully it means you won't have to lie low while you're here.
That's so thoughtful of you, Navia.
Well, what do you expect? I am the courageous and considerate president. Anyway, that was all. Look after her now.
Off we go then. Let's take a look up there. I don't have any friends that I can be frank and honest with, so maybe she's right. You're the closest thing to friends that I have. I'm so grateful that Miss Navia was so understanding. To be perfectly honest, I didn't know if I was ready to meet her. It's always easiest to just run away from your problems. But that never fixes anything. You can't get around the obstacles without facing them.
So that's why you were nervous when they brought up Poisson.
Yeah. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared of coming back. Still, I felt it was something I had to do. As I was saying before, I want to see for myself the things that I never could. I'd be overjoyed if the people here could find it in their... Yeah, I can tell people are watching me. I'm sure some people here see the idea of someone coming to Poisson dressed as the Hydro Archon as extremely disrespectful. I used to be terrified of the gaze of other people, especially when they had suspicion or resentment in their eyes. I guess I wasn't quite ready for this after all.
I'm not surprised you're making yourself go through all of this.
I can't let myself see only the things I want to see. How would that make me any different from before?
Look! There seems to be a crowd gathering over there.
Probably time we made a move. How about we check out Spina di Rasula's ship? We should have a view of the whole of Poisson from there. I'm sorry. You probably just wanted a relaxing stroll. And here I am dumping all this heavy...
We don't mind. It's actually refreshing to see a different side of you.
Great. Well, I appreciate your company, so please don't disappear just yet. I don't know whether you can tell, but the years of suffering and loneliness aren't the only reason I have a hard time facing up to who I used to be. As I stand here by the ship, I can't get the images of the rising water out of my mind. One after another, people were taken by the water. They thought their god would protect them. They had absolute faith that when disaster struck, a divine power would save them from harm. And all the while, I played my part to perfection to convince. But then the floodwaters finally came, and the Hydro Archon did nothing.
You shouldn't look at it like that. You were only doing your duty.
I've had to go through so many moments like that for the sake of protecting the truth. As time went on, it got hard. Eventually, I realized I had nothing left except the truth. I became terrified of completely failing in my task and was haunted by the thought of being left all alone, weeping on my throne. Fortunately, we were able to avoid the worst-case scenario thanks to the help of heroic individuals. Everyone rose to their responsibilities, and I finally regained my freedom. But on some level, freedom also means no longer being needed. I have no further use.
Paimon would have never imagined you'd see it that way.
Reward? I guess so. Back then, I didn't even dare to dream about having someone to confide in. I was scared of someone recognizing me for who I truly was, and exposing the secret I swore to protect. Believe in the Furina you see on stage. She is the one you can trust. I had to keep all my feelings, all my curiosity about life to myself. No one could be. That's what I really meant when I said I'm no good at maintaining relationships.
So that's where you were coming from. Paimon totally thought you were just a bit of a diva at heart.
Could you please get off my case? I don't know what's gotten into you today. I'm making an effort here. You could at least try to do the same. I do. I once had nothing but at least the choice is in my hands. All right, it's about time to head back. Paulo should have finished the ending by—
Sure. Okay, let's head back in.
Didn't you say you needed to watch what you eat? You're supposed to be cutting down on fried foods, not wolfing down copious quantities of—
Come on. It's not every day we get to dine at Spina di Rosula's expense. Can you believe how generous she is? I'm not about to pass on free food. Anyway, my character doesn't need to be slim and good-looking. That's your job.
Are you kidding me right now? It's not your character's health I'm worried about. I've spent my whole life battling the effects of ill health, and it kills me to watch you willingly ruin yours by filling yourself—
Oh no, looks like they're arguing again. We're back! Could you maybe put your differences aside for a moment?
You're back. We've been enjoying Spina di Rosula's VIP treatment in your stead. Paulo's nearly done. We shouldn't have to wait too much longer.
Great! So you were discussing your characters, right? We heard she's playing the Ocenid who turns into a human girl. What about you?
Me? I'm an Ocenid too.
He was originally supposed to take the form of a crane, but he outgrew that role.
The boar's not a bad character, actually. He's the one who raises the little Ocenid.
That's right. He has some pretty memorable lines too, like when he imparts some solemn words of wisdom to the little Ocenid. If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one.
Wait, that sounds kind of familiar.
It's the most important line in the whole script. I think it's a symbolic statement about our director's life. She kept quiet about all the trials and tribulations she faced in running our troupe, allowing us to devote— It was only after she was gone that we realized how tough her job—
You mentioned earlier that the troupe is like your home.
Yeah. I was born with an incurable illness, and once my family found out it couldn't be treated, they decided they didn't want me anymore. I spent some years taking whatever work I could find and trying to manage my illness with various medicines. But whenever I had a bad flare-up, I'd be lying in an alleyway for days. It was like that until the director found me one day. She told me I had a great voice and asked if I was interested in studying. She took me under her wing, taught me to both sing and act, helped me find Mora for my meds, took care of me when my condition decided to flare up. I know.
She sounds like a really incredible person.
She really was. She gave everything she had to her troop and the people. I was a lost child too when she found me. The other kids were always picking fights with me. They'd say things like, one day, I got beaten up so bad that I just couldn't take it anymore. So I ran away. I lost all faith in humanity by that point.
Let me guess.
Yeah. For the first time in my life, I was somewhere I felt safe. And
The day you hoped would never come. How times...
Oh, you're finally done? Get your butt over here. There's someone I need to introduce you to. This is our new...
Furina? The Furina? Oh my god, how did you manage to wrangle that?
Please, the honor is all mine. I was profoundly moved to hear about your troupe and your wonderful director. I just wanted...
Same here.
Even so, this is just... Oh, wow. I'm sorry. I'll try to calm down. Now, where was I? Ah, yes, the script, of course. Let me give you a rundown of how the story unfolds in my version of the script. I'm sure you're already familiar with the beginning of the story. A little Ocenid decides she finds love and friendship in the bustling city. But then, disaster strikes. The people start to notice that all the fresh water in the surrounding area is slowly disappearing. The soil is becoming arid. Plants, the little Ocenid, Cleo, and her lover decide to do something about it and investigate the truth of the matter. In the end, they discover that all the waste and pollution created by humans over the years has caused the fresh water to flee.
Consciousness? You mean the water is sentient?
Water as a conscious entity.
Since the little Ocenid is a water spirit, she immediately understands how the water is feeling. She then tells her lover accepts her for who she is and works with her to find a way to bring the water back. However, unbeknownst to them, there were some people eavesdropping when she revealed her secret. The little Ocenid is accused.
And then?
In the end, she makes the brave decision to sacrifice herself to save her love.
Huh? But didn't they all treat Cleo like a villain? Why would she want to save them after that?
Well, she mainly wanted to save her lover, plus everyone who'd stood up for her.
Through her love for her human partner, she was able to find an even greater love, one that extended to all of humanity. Surely
There's actually something else that bothers me. You know the protagonist is supposed to represent the director, right? And she never had the chance to become a hero in our world. If we're serious about dedicating this show to her memory, we should make the ending as true to life as possible. What about if the little Ocenid is how...
That sounds like too cruel of an ending to me. And perhaps a little irresponsible.
That ending would be a perfect mirror to Director Jourdaïly's death. Both arbitrary and mean. On the day when she went missing, Director Jourdaïly had instructed us all, somewhat out of the blue, to leave the court of Fontaine and wait for her outside the city. We waited and waited at the rendezvous point, but she never came. We looked for her.
The director was the kindest soul in the world, yet she was senselessly sacrificed.
But doesn't the way she suddenly told you to leave the city suggest that maybe she had some sense of what was about to happen? It almost...
I've been trying to follow up on that ever since, but all my efforts so far have turned up nothing. Villemont.
Villemont? The one who's playing the role of the villain?
Yeah. He's been overwhelmed by grief. I think the director's death...
Grief? Guilt, more like. Also, I have a hard time imagining that anyone took it harder than me. Because, well, speaking of the play being true to life,
What? You kept that?
It's time to be upfront with you all. No more keeping secrets from each other. I did tell her how I felt once, but she turned me down pretty much straight away. She said that we were all like brothers and sisters to her. Not that it came as a shock or an... I said, maybe one day in the future, when everyone's settled into their own lives and on the up and up, and managing... Well, maybe then she could... And now...
Oh, Paulo.
So if I'm the one writing this ending, then I'm
In that case, you have to straighten things out with Vilmont. We've all had our differences of opinion over the ending, but those two have never seen eye to eye on anything. One of them has to compromise if...
Well, if that's where we're at, looks like it's...
Are you ready to face the truth?
Honestly, I'm slightly terrified. Funny you should ask, though.
I certainly do. Come on, everyone. Hello.
This is tough going.
As if this journey wasn't tough enough.
Don't worry. We should all be fine with the traveler here. Wait, why are you all looking at me? You're not seriously expecting me to...
We're just curious, that's all. I don't think anyone's ever seen Furina in a fight before.
Yeah, but don't you remember why? The Hydro Archon willingly gave up all her power so it could be converted into indemnitium. Miss Furina said so.
Precisely! And I'm not even the Hydro Archon anymore, so all my power is gone anyway. As much as it pains me, unfortunately, I should just stay put. I'm more like a damsel in distress.
That sounded so smug. Ugh, secondhand embarrassment.
C'est la vie, indeed.
Aw, too bad.
Sorry to leave all the heavy lip.
Don't worry, piece of cake.
Bravo! Good show! You certainly live up to your reputation.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, the path is cleared now, so onwards and upwards.
Vilma, are you there?
Huh? Oh, it's you guys. Wait, what's Lady Furina doing here?
I can explain.
So, you think... If I open this can of worms now...
Viamant, avoid... Unless you mean to suggest that Aurelie...
I don't want to talk about it.
Listen, Viamant. I used to think that my love for Aurelie was a point of shame. I never... But now, I've made up my... The little Ocenid cannot be complete unless we do justice to Aurelie on an emotional level.
This is why people... As you all know already, the troupe was kept afloat, not... We took on side jobs when we weren't... So, anyway, one day after a show, a merchant came to me and it seemed like a win-win. So, I said yes to it on the spot without consulting the director. The drink in question was synth.
Isn't that the drink peddled by the culprit behind the serial disappearance?
I freaked out when I saw the boxes. And I told the director everything right away. But she didn't reprimand me for making the decision. The merchant was furious, berated us for going back on our word, and I was going to sort it on my own, but things only got worse. I admit this whole thing was my mistake. I didn't dare to tell any of you the truth back then, and after the director yeah, I got a...
Hey, don't say that.
You traitor! You knew Aurelie... What do you mean? You were afraid? This was a life and death situation. We could have saved her! How could you be so...
Please, try not to get too worked.
Yeah, listen to him.
Stay calm? How can I stay calm? This guy got Aurelie murdered! She was the love of my life. And he has the gall to try and high-road us, claiming that he kept his mouth shut for the sake of the show! How about taking some responsibility for what he's done?
All I can say is I'm sorry. Truly. I wanted to apologize to everyone in the troupe, but that won't bring back the director. What good is my apology now? I'm just a coward who made an awful, terrible mistake that I can never take back. End my life so I can—
Get out of my sight! Go! Get lost! I don't ever want to see—
That's enough! You've screamed and shouted at each other for long enough. Now pipe down, both of you! Can you stop conflating the show on stage with your real-life relationships in the troupe? You keep saying that you want to use this final performance to pay tribute to your director and celebrate her life. How can you do that if you're just using it as an excuse to vent your own emotions?
You're right.
I'm sorry.
On stage, the lead role is the focal point of the audience's attention. And you're all used to seeing the director as the heart of the troupe. But in her own life, her greatest desire wasn't to be the center of attention. I can tell how much she loved you all, and how much she loved the troupe. What she wanted was to build a warm home for all of her brothers and sisters. I understand why you're trying to make her the hero of the story, but...
Yeah.
So think hard about what that means. And then think again about what you hope to achieve by arguing with each other. If you really hate each other, but you can't bring yourself to do that, can you? What are you laughing at?
Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. It's just that if she'd seen Paulo and
Really? But she sounded like such a gentle person.
Of course she was. Even her harshest lectures came from a place of kindness, and it showed. She really was a truly
I'm truly sorry.
It's all right.
So, the ending.
Clearly, everyone needs to take the end of the story needs to focus back on
What do you mean?
The Traveler is right. You once investigated that underwater synth base and recovered items. If you could find anything that Yorᴏ̈y left behind, perhaps we can get a better...
You really think that's possible?
I trust that nobody would object to the end.
No.
Well, we'll leave this in your...
Come, let's pay a visit to the Palais Mermonia. The rest of you, head back to the rehearsal location for now, and...
You want to review some recovered items connected to victims of the serial disappearances case? Still, since you were the ones who discovered and submitted the evidence in the first place, you don't actually have to submit an application. Okay, please hold on. I'll have someone dig them out.
So, this is all Yorᴏ̈y left behind. Just whatever she was carrying on her person, and...
Hey! It's full of script lines! And sketches too! Looks like...
Let me take a look. Maybe there's something in here from after she was kidnapped. Aha! I found something. Looks like she kept a detailed record of her captor's actions. If we'd had the chance to examine this notebook carefully back then, it would have been a conclusive piece of evidence.
Lachey took so many lives.
I guess Yorᴏ̈y must have written all of this down in the hope that her records would one day be of use. Wait, it cuts off. Her handwriting here gets patchier and more her final words are... I'll let you read them for you.
was so terrified.
She may have been a mighty hero in the eyes of her troop, but at the end of the day, she was only... I can't bear to think how painful and lonely her final days wait. If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this still what you want?
Isn't that the most important line in the little Ocenid?
Because I am an older sister to them.
Oh.
So she didn't regret her decision. Even, I'm sure this is what the troupe would have hoped to hear, is she had their utmost trust, admiration, and love. And she Let's go.
She deserves a hero's farewell. If that's the only way to convey to the audience the courage and selfless...
Even in the last moments of her life.
She did her best to protect as many people as possible. We know what choice our little Ocenid would have made now. I don't think any more discussion is necessary. Well, Vilmont?
I will channel all my regret and put it into my performance. To make this, I won't ask for your forgiveness, and you...
Then it seems like...
Really? How can you be so sure when you've never even seen them perform before?
Don't underestimate my experience. After all, if you want to move the audience with your music, you must and aren't human emotions. Love. I don't believe anybody could be more committed to bringing this story to life on this.
Thank you for the vote of confidence, Miss Furina. And
Then, let's not delay things any longer.
actually, before that, I'd like to make a proposal. During the curtain call, please allow me to use the director's name instead of my own.
Huh? But then...
After all, this role was originally meant to be played by the director. I'm just filling in for her. Besides, a role commemorating her life.
Well, if you're sure you're okay...
Now we're talking like a serious acting. All right, I'll leave you to fine-tune your musical while I go.
Procure a stage?
Oh, it's okay. Our usual place doesn't need a reservation.
That place? Oh, don't be silly. For an extraordinary show, we need an extraordinary stage.
Whoa, wait, what?
No. That's never going to work. It's far too fancy for...
What are you afraid of? Surely you don't think that Jourdaïly's story is unworthy of the grandest stage in Fontaine?
No, though that's not what I meant.
It is supposed to be your grand finale, right?
I have no problem with it then. I'll take your silence as a yes. Thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Well, then don't disappoint me. If you mess this up, it'll reflect... Come on! We'll need to get the go-ahead from Jourdaïly. I know just where to find him. Hey, look at that! Looks like I guessed right.
You were just guessing?
I knew you'd be here.
I'm here merely for a short break. It has been a while, Miss Furina. And you too, traveler in Paimon. What might I assist you with?
I would like to book the Opera Épiclès for an event. You see...
I understand. The process for booking the Opera Épiclès is complex and can be somewhat cumbersome. But given that the request is coming from the three of you, I see no reason to make things unduly difficult. The story of the little Ocenid is most fascinating. I'm looking forward to seeing it performed on stage. I will say, however, that I am surprised to see your passion for the performing arts rekindled after all.
Huh? What do you mean? Do I look...
Yes. And this is the first time that I've seen you like this since your departure from deityhood.
At first, I just felt bad about rejecting them. So I wanted to learn a little bit more about their situation. In the past, we sat in our high chairs in the court, giving our opinions on isolated cases, all while knowing maybe it's because I finally become an ordinary person and gained my freedom. But I've developed a great sense of curiosity.
I am truly delighted to see you find a new lease on life. Now that you've regained some confidence, have you had any thoughts regarding a return to...
Why would you suddenly ask a question like...
Well, if the little Ocenid turns out to be a great success, it will no doubt become a classic. The experiences and decisions of the protagonist, Cleo, are all modeled after your own. Naturally, this makes you eminently suited to playing the lead. It would truly be a shame if...
Haven't I already made myself clear? Nor do I think it is any great shame. This experience is a case in point. I feel like I've learned a lot. I must admit, though, I'm a little envious.
I see. Well, I'm glad to learn that you have found a role to play that you enjoy, be it on the stage or not. I sincerely hope the show will serve as the grandest of finales.
Thanks, Nervalek.
You are very welcome.
Cursed Cleo. She stole the waters of life from us. She's a fraud, and she must pay for her crimes.
This has nothing to...
This guy
Leave this place, oh little Ocenid.
Everyone's really throwing...
What should we do? It's a...
Hey, what's going on? Oh no.
They've...
What?
I figured...
How could you do this?
I'm sorry.
You...
Miss Furina...
Say no more. Loic, your character...
Oh, yeah.
Please take Delphi...
Thank you, Miss...
Never mind. No one likes regret. Leave it to me. I've watched you rehearse.
I do not doubt your act. What in you...
It's her pure heart, despite all...
Well said. I leave direct...
Is she here yet?
When will she get here?
She's not coming!
You're wrong. She's here.
Si je pouvais vivre dans l'eau, le monde serait-il plus beau? Me pardonneras-tu, ô chère mère?
My wish.
If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
Le grand amour ne suffit pas, seul un adieu fleurira. C'est notre histoire de vie, douce et amère. Moi, je suis seule et toujours là, à voir le monde et sa beauté. Et ça ne changera jamais, jamais.
Is it just me? Who was that Lady Furina on the stage just now?
She hasn't been seen for a while now, and she just appears out of nowhere? Gotta say, though, her acting skills are as superb as ever.
The little Ocenid, Cleo, played by Jourdaî.
Wait, that's not her name. What's going on?
I don't know, maybe it's just a doppelganger.
I've spent a lot of time out of the spotlight, and they didn't use my name during the curtain call either. Hopefully, not too many people. It's too bad that I had to break the one clear rule I'd managed to make for myself, even if I had no choice. Still, I have to admit that, despite everything, it felt good to be back on the stage again.
Finally, we would like to give a special thanks to our artistic consultant and event coordinator, Miss Furina.
Hey, that's not what we agreed on!
Oh, so it was Furina after all.
She's back!
Honestly, what is he doing? He should have run that by me first.
All right, calm down, don't be mad. This was a group decision. We just didn't want your contributions to go unacknowledged. After all, it's been the rule in Fontaine since ancient times that everyone's work, visible or invisible, is equally deserving of
Yes, I know the rule, but it should still be applied on a case-by-case...
It's no big deal. What's the worst that could happen?
Oh, yeah? Well, since you think it's so...
This is a great chat and all, but can we talk about that crazy thing that happened during the... Paimon flew over to where she was supposed to...
Oh, that... I've got no idea what happened there either. But hey, it worked pretty well. I'll bet the audience has never seen such a realistic prop.
Wait, what about Dolphy? I wonder how she's doing.
Let's go check on her as soon.
Yes. Plus, she'll definitely want to hear how, if nothing else, we can...
Ah, you're back. She's doing okay. Her condition stabilized after taking some of her original medication. From experience, though, I'd say she still needs...
How did the performance go?
You'll be glad to know it was fantastic! Also, you're not gonna believe what happened while Furina was on the stage! You'll probably be able to read all about it in the Steambird first.
That's wonderful. I'm so sorry
No, don't worry about it, even though you couldn't see it through
Well, I've had bad luck ever since I was born.
Blaming your bad luck again, are...
Oh, don't you start.
Aw, you two clearly...
I don't know what you're talking...
You mean we never stop arguing?
So, any plans for after the brilliant performance you put on? The reputation of your troupe is sure to spread through Fontaine. Like, you could capitalize on...
No, we should...
Yeah, it's what we all agreed to.
After all that's happened, I should give you guys some space. But...
Hey, don't just walk off!
I still want to keep performing, so I might join another troupe. After watching Miss Furina's performance, I think I'm starting to understand our director's infatuation with music.
You should do it. It suits you.
Oh, so now you finally got your priorities in order. What about you, Miss Furina? Any future plans?
Well, frankly, I think a return to obscurity is no longer an option for me. I'm sure a slew of consultancy requests will... You rather sealed my fate there with your special thanks at the end of the show.
Sorry.
It's quite all right. No need to apologize. What I meant to say is that this whole experience has shown me that maybe Neuvillette was right. Maybe Cleo is the right role for me. I still don't wish to pretend to be someone else, but I do have it. Yeah. There was once a time when I was an actress in a masquerade, seeking only... But from now on, I want to spend my time learning real stories about real people. I want to watch them blossom and wither. I'm sure this is what captivated Director Oak.
Sounds like you're ready to stop running from your true call. The more you get out into the world, the more you'll discover what a fascinating place it is.
Then it's a deal. If a vision is a gift from the gods, then I should do my best to honor.
तो ओके गाइस, मैं वापस आ चुका हूँ एकदम वीडियो के एंड में। तो गाइस आप लोगों ने तो देख ही लिया होगा गाइस अभी के मतलब क्या हुआ, फॉरेनर ने जो बात किया। तो अभी मेरे को और इतना एक्सप्लेन करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, बट मैं एक ही चीज़ बोलूँगा, जो गेंशिन के जो कट सीन्स होते हैं ना, मैं बोलूँ तो वन ऑफ द बेस्ट कट सीन होते हैं भाई। मतलब कट सीन देख के ना एकदम अंदर से फीलिंग आती है, जो भी होता है मज़ा आ जाता है देख के। तो आइए अब आपको आज का ये फुरीना का जो स्टोरी कुछ था तो लाइक करना, शेयर करना, सब्सक्राइब करना। और लाइक हम लोग ऐसे फ्यूचर में जो कुछ किया हम लोगों ने, तो उसका शॉर्ट्स आते रहेंगे। और इस स्टोरी को इसका भी लाइक मतलब शॉर्ट्स आएगा, तो उसके लिए एकदम रेडी है ना। और हम लोग जैसे एडिट्स छोड़ते हैं तो एडिट्स आते ही रहेंगे, तो अभी मतलब लाइक फुल रेडी एक्टिव है। तो गाइस चलो आज के लिए बस इतना ही।
Isn't there anything else more interesting to do?
नहीं इतना बोरिंग नहीं बोला। तो गाइस चलो आज के लिए बस इतना ही, मिलते हैं इसकी नेक्स्ट वीडियो माइनक्राफ्ट सर्वाइवल सीरीज पार्ट 9 होगा। तो वही चलो तब तक के लिए बाय, लव यू ऑल एंड थैंक्स फॉर वाचिंग। और लाइक करके ना आज का लाइक के रखते हैं हम लोग 15 लाइक कमेंट करवा दो कि बाय। और वैसे फुरीना मेरे को आज पुल करते हुए मिला था, बस यही वो पुल करते करते मेरे को करीब 70 पुल में मिल गया था। बट फुरीना भाई मस्त डीपीएस है, जो भी बोलो। बाय बाय गाइस।